Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and gotta address some of that old controversy. Now this is a video that's actually, I would say like 6 months kind of in the making, and it's one of those short little videos that I kind of want to make where I want to really update the community on some of the things that I've been sort of reading. Now, I believe one of the best parts about the internet is criticism, okay? The comment sections are gold, okay? When you write something in the comment section, I read it, okay? So if you write, I'm a dirty, smelly loser, I'm gonna read that, okay? And if you write, oh, Muta, I really like you, you're a cute, cuddly bear, I'll read that as well. I read all the positivity and all the negativity. One of the best parts about YouTube is uploading a video and just reading what the community actually thinks about the content. If nobody comments on a video, then it's just not fun, okay? The views don't matter, the likes to dislikes don't matter. I just like reading the comment section, okay? I get me a nice, big bag of popcorn and I read through some of the most controversial comment sections sometimes. But anyways, the most important part about being a content creator, in my opinion, is actually taking criticism to heart and course correcting. There's nothing wrong with being criticized, and I think that everybody from time to time needs criticism from their community and a bit of self-correction so they don't fall down a wayward path of content creation and end up going into lolcowdom at some point, okay? It's wild. It's a very fine line you have to navigate. Now, there's a Reddit board known as the Some Ordinary Gamers Reddit, which is basically turned into a mental asylum at this point. I guess that's the nicest way to put it, okay? Oh, what's Har up to? Is Har stupid? Is Tahar the... It's crazy, okay? Ever since I covered the Batman Arkham subreddit, my community is like, it's just filled with like insane mental patients, okay? Sometimes I feel like a goddamn orderly walking into that subreddit. But from time to time, there's some genuine subreddit criticism of my content. And some of that content has kind of, been something that I've been wanting to address for a little bit. For instance, one of the actual pieces of criticism was, have I become a drama channel at this point? Now, I've made several videos in the past denouncing a lot of the BS drama content that sort of permeates around on YouTube, and it's stuff that I still do hold to this day. I watch older videos of mine to see how I've changed and shifted as a person as I grow older, as my views change, as life events happen to me. And this is one thing that I really have wanted to address. Now, if it's something that my channel is pretty much, in my opinion, known for, is the sporadic nature of it, okay? There are lots of popular pillars of content that I've done from phases of time. I guess if you wanted to look at my channel, you could kind of like year by year break it down, like the creepypasta era, the deep web era, the virus investigation era, the commentary era. It's like looking at the fucking history of the earth and figuring out, this is the Paleolithic era, this is blah, 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 this is so and so forth. And from time to time, I guess that's kind of how my mind works. When I jump into something, I get really fascinated by it, and I pretty much run it to the absolute ends of the earth. I look back at the creepypasta content that I made for Haunted Gaming, creepypastas, shitpastas, and it was an interesting era of content where I basically read through some of the most popular stories, and towards the tail end of Haunted Gaming, I was reading stuff like Screwdriver.dmg, okay? The scary tale of a screwdriver video game gone wrong, putting the screws, like, insanely stupid stuff like it, okay? But we had fun, we covered it. And obviously, from time to time, it shifted into deep web browsing, where I actually did over 200 episodes of looking through the deep dark web of the internet, basically logging into Tor, occasionally I2P, the general web, and looking through the most obscure, sometimes creepy, sometimes hilarious parts of the internet. And obviously virus investigations, where, I did around 30-40 videos of looking through some of the most popular malware that existed, and that was a much more short-lived series because looking through malware, eventually it all starts becoming the exact same piece of video. So obviously these are pillars of my content that people have jumped onto and have known for. And recently I cover a lot more internet related stuff, a lot more controversial stuff. Sometimes I investigate people with the help of other YouTubers, where we look into some rather controversial things, like scams, okay? Very recently we looked into Keffals, 2 years ago we looked into Save the Kids, we looked into Rubets, we looked into TechLead, we looked into lots of individuals with rather shady histories, and unfortunately a pattern of possible money being taken in some of these cases. Illegitimately, and money that may have been illegitimately taken from the actual community, which I have a very, very strong tolerance against. Now, the whole idea of like drama content to me is really weird. You know, if you look at the content, if you look at the channels that people watch in similar to what I make, you know, Asmongold, Moist Critical, Ludwig, Mogul Mail, Pyro Live, Pyrocynical's commentary channel, and, you know, anybody, I've basically dug these channels out from channels that are similar to me through YouTube analytics. So, you know, generally people that come to watch my content also watch their content and so on and so forth. And while some would say that these are like daily upload channel mannerisms and whatnot, there's a lot of content that I just choose not to cover because it doesn't really fall into my interest or purview, nor would I think the interest would really permeate to the rest of my community. You know, if I really wanted to, you know, be the drama feeding YouTuber that would basically make gangbuster views day after day, you know, I would probably cover things like the Drake and, the Kendrick Lamar beef, right? Which pretty much every commentary channel covered. Not just commentary channels, I'm pretty sure channels that focus specifically on physics probably covered it too. One of the most largest internet dramas that existed. And while I probably have commented on this on like Twitter or platforms, which I'm usually using while I'm on the toilet, it's not something that I would really dedicate a full video to, despite knowing that it would probably be a 1 out of 10 on YouTube's, recommended video. It would probably be something that would go trending. And that's just simply due to the fact that I have a little bit of like this thing called integrity to what I am and what my channel is and what I really care about. I would rather make a video that I know doesn't do well in the algorithm or view-wise, but I know that I enjoyed making it simply because it's something that really interested me. Versus, you know, making a video day after day, getting caught by my audience in some form of audience capture, covering the most insane of trends simply because that's what makes my channel work. I feel like the best channels and the stuff that I like to watch on the internet are all content creators that produce content because they are solely interested by said content versus the possible nature of that content going viral. Obviously, we all like people watching our videos. We all love seeing a fucking 1 out of 10 on YouTube stuff. Don't let anybody tell you that, okay? But the reality of it is I feel like channels are really successful in the long term if the content creator is truly invested into it. And that's one of the long-time principles that I've had on my channel, okay? That's really what I like to keep up to. So realistically, to whittle this on back to the whole like drama tuber kind of thing, it is really weird when we cover things like actual investigative pieces that there is a lot of, I guess, allegations of, people are farming drama in this situation. When in reality, you know, going out doing interviews, actually looking through documentation, actually covering things in an investigative way, in my opinion, is not drama, okay? Drama is like that Kendrick versus Drake stuff, which I really have no interest for. Drama is like looking at what happens on live stream fails for Twitch streamers and covering that every single day. When in reality, I could give a fuck what anything happens on Twitch or anything of that nature. For me, actually looking into scams and financial issues, and really sometimes actual controversial situations on the internet that I think have an implication for larger situations is more important. For instance, if a content creator does something illegal, I really do think it's worth making a video about because I think the long-term implications of somebody doing something illegal actually matters. And it's something that I've basically kept as a principle when you look at any of the content creators that I've really covered in the last 4 or 5 years. I think covering stupid, meaningless things is actual drama. But I think covering actual serious implications is not drama. I think that's something that is worth covering, and it's something that is timeless as a whole. But it is something that I wanted to address because I've seen the actual, criticism being brought up, and I wanted to really give my perspective of it, and I wanted to talk about why this kind of stuff interests me. I really am going to say that the future of my channel and the future of the things that I want to cover ultimately will be powered by my interest for covering them and my interest for the implications in large, okay? If you got somebody like Johnny Somali who is absolutely making a fool of himself on the internet, I'm worried about how that affects Japanese law down the road when it comes to foreigners coming into their country or streaming or getting the perspective of people from their nation when an absolute belligerent fucking dumbass is in their country. I like covering content creators that are actually engaged in committing crime because it's a phenomenon that is unknown to me, okay? So this is where I kind of come into. But obviously the future of my channel is something that I want to bring back to a more balanced perspective. So I was watching an older video that I made where I looked at things like the Mandela catalog. So I really want to go back to things like that, looking more into like, 4chan paranormal threads or boards, and kind of treat my channel as a way where I can have a commentary video on Tuesday, 4chan on the Wednesdays, maybe a deep web revisitation on a Friday, something of that nature, okay, to add more variety and to basically, satiate a lot of people that have come to my channel over the last few years that enjoy a certain type of content and not much else. It's something that I notice when I make hyper-specific videos, that it gets viewed by a very specific group of people, and that specific group of people may not be interested in another, aspect of content that I make. And it's one thing that I aim to absolutely balance going down into the future. But again, it's one of the things that I wanted to really address and really discuss going in forward. And it's one of those criticisms that I absolutely take to heart, obviously. Now, one of the things that I do want to talk about is virus investigations. Obviously, people want more virus investigations. The videos that I have made have absolutely done well on this channel. The problem with things like virus investigations is there's only so many times you can cover an email worm, a ransomware virus, or a creepypasta meme virus, okay? They end up effectively bleeding through. So realistically, virus investigations never really went away. I do enjoy covering cybersecurity content, but I enjoy covering it from a way of teaching rather than just, bringing up the same 2 or 3 viruses and making 300 videos out of it. I don't think that's necessarily good content or entertaining content. That's just incredibly repetitive content. And it's something that I don't really aim to do. I like covering, players in the cybersecurity game or actual hacking forums that end up getting busted by the actual cops and covering how these people have made mistakes and gotten themselves caught and basically ruining their entire internet criminal enterprise. So this is the kind of stuff that we're going to look at going forward. The last bit of controversy that I actually wanted to sort of address, and I say controversy because sponsorships are kind of weird on the internet, okay? A lot of internet content is sponsored, and the reason why we take sponsorships is because sometimes you cover larger videos where you buy expensive pieces of kit, and you just basically use a sponsor to offset the financial loss that it sometimes comes for making certain videos. Obviously, there are certain videos where we'll hire like researchers and we'll bring people on to assist with certain projects, okay? Not everything as a whole, just to help me out with researching people or to have an extra person, an extra body assisting on a project. And I always consider paid work better than free work, okay, in terms of quality. So a sponsor usually helps pay the salary or the contract fee for anybody else brought onto a project, right? That's generally how things go. But one of the sponsors that I absolutely have made a conscious effort to completely avoid on this channel is VPN sponsorships. Now, a while back, you probably saw me having actual VPN sponsorships, and VPN sponsorships are fine. They pay pretty well. But one of the things that I have a little bit of clash with on my channel is the quality of certain sponsorships and certain VPNs. And not so much, I guess, the quality, that's a hard word to put it, it's trust, okay? Obviously, as somebody that makes cybersecurity and privacy-focused content, trusting a VPN is like, it requires a lot, okay? And it's one of those things where, talking with VPN companies usually has us discussing with CTOs, people high up in the company to go over the actual technical specifics. And it's very recently for me that the technical specifics are not something that I personally 100% trust. My view of a VPN company is unless I fucking own the thing, okay, unless there is Muda VPN, okay, that has the I own the servers, I can look over it like a goddamn overlord and make sure that everyone's privacy is intact, then I'll truly feel comfortable, because I am one controversy away from a VPN company just selling information to the government and me basically having massive egg on my face. So it's one of those things where the money is not so much important as the trust is with the community, okay? So it's one of the things that we've absolutely thrown away. Now, when it comes to privacy-focused or antivirus software sponsorships that we've had, a lot of these actually end up coming through because we've sat down and talked again with CTOs, engineering staff, and talked very, very, very in-depth with them. So obviously, in the discussions we've had is like, if you actually are lying to me, then you are absolutely going to be hunted down. We are going to absolutely make a piece covering any form of lie. So it requires a lot of trust, and it requires, a company not basically lying to us, which we have a pretty in-depth view and discussion of how things work before we take up anything like it. But when it comes to things like VPNs, I really do feel like the idea of tunneling all of your internet traffic through one place requires a degree more trust than simply installing like a piece of antivirus software, or in some cases, a little extension that works periodically. But again, things are always subject to change. It's not to say that I don't use VPN softwares, I do, but even the softwares that I personally use, I don't feel that I can actually vet in a professional capacity. So it's one of those things, if you've kind of noticed how we've taken away VPN sponsorships, it's just because of my own personal paranoia. And it's not even because of the VPN sponsorships that we've worked with in the past. In usual cases, all of these guys have been great, and our relationship with them remains great. It's just a matter of my personal paranoia just basically flaring in. And it's one of the things that I've kind of cut down. And I think as some channel that is focused on privacy, vetting that stuff more than the average channel is probably something that I am more responsible for, okay? It's not like I'm a cooking channel and I can, tell you about getting this one VPN company. It's actually putting my balls on the line, especially with the kind of content that I actually produce. So anyways, yeah, I wanted to make a quick video addressing some controversy, some discussions of, what's been going on in the subreddit, and yeah, business as usual tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a dark web story to cover, and an individual that basically got fucked for facilitating $100 million worth of drug sales on the internet. Wild stuff indeed. So tune in tomorrow afternoon. This is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.